you want me to re-ask the question then?
Yeah, we've got a really short group today because I don't know exactly what happened. It started with the fact that I needed to change our time to accommodate a conference that I'm in today. So it's just Stan and I, but Stan started before I hit the record button with a great question that I think is worth addressing for everybody. So if you'd repeat that, that would be super.
Sure. So the Sprouts bacon that I got last week, and I posted on the Facebook account, is no sugar, no nitrates, no nitrites, which on the one hand seems that, well, it's certainly the only bacon we can eat. But I wondered, because I've heard stories, news stories about basically any deli meat is bad for us. I wondered if the issue is the nitrates and nitrites, or if there's something else that makes deli meats in general and bacon in particular not a great choice.
So that's a great question. There are actually a couple of different answers around that, both with respect to deli meats and with respect to bacon. So part of the issue with deli meats is that often they're not really the meat. They're generally, many times, they've been processed and reformed. So they're a heavily processed food, in addition to the fact that they've also got nitrates and nitrites and sometimes other additives. Sometimes they add a brining solution, happens a lot with turkeys, for example. And so it's just, it becomes a very processed food, which we want to avoid to the greatest extent possible. With respect to bacon, couple of issues around bacon. One of them is definitely the nitrates, and sugar. Those are the biggest. And again, looking for other additives that are going to be off the list that would turn it into a heavily processed food. But basically, if what you're doing is slicing the bacon off of the belly, I think, right? Yeah, belly. And putting it in a package, not so bad from that perspective. Here's what is potentially bad, though. Bacon is a very fatty meat, which means it's not something that we necessarily want to be eating on a super regular basis. Once a week, whatever, periodically, sure. A couple times a week, sure. Every day, probably not, in general. But again, keep in mind that if you're having difficulty flipping the switch, moving up to fattier meats is not the worst thing in the world. It actually does signal to your body that winter's over. There's plenty. So it can actually help you to lose weight, to eat fattier meats and eat more fat. So that was both definitive and not terribly definitive, I think, but did it help?
Yeah.
Cool.
And that was my thought too. It seems like bacon intrinsically is probably less processed than some other things, because it is just sliced off the belly. I've seen it, I don't know if we have it here, but in the delis back east, you can get like regular lunch meats or lunch meats, quote unquote, off the bone. And I'm guessing those ones may actually be not formed, but pieces of muscle.
But interesting.
But I haven't really bought deli meats here.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Even the ones off the bone can still have additives.
Oh, I would expect they do, yeah. Because everything does, if nothing else, sugar.
Yeah.
As we've discovered.
Yeah, so, and everything.
So good, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. We're coming into soup season, and I've got some videos that I'll be sharing with everybody, hopefully before too long, because I actually did a series. I started the other day with a faux rotisserie chicken in the Instant Pot, which is super simple to make. And then once I had stripped all the meat off the carcass, I took the carcass and made bone broth, also super simple to make. And then I went ahead and made a bunch of vegetable soup so that I have some to eat and some to freeze, because I think it's really important to always have food choices available that we know are good for us. Now, when I share the recipe for the soup, I have to admit that I was thinking about this more for me than for you guys being in Deep Spring, because I did put a couple of carrots in. So in Deep Spring, you want to make the vegetable soup, you're going to omit the carrots, but everything else that I put in is absolutely fine. You can use whatever vegetables you want that are in the good list. And the more vegetables, the better. So really easy to do. And I'm going to try and get that up in the next couple of days. I've got to do a little editing around all those videos to get them posted, but hopefully y'all will find that helpful. today's video. Well, let's do your check-ins, Dan. I've got Jeanette's check-in by text message, and when I post this up in the Facebook group, I'm going to ask everybody else that was not here to go ahead and post their check-ins underneath. So, what's been going on with you, Stan, over the weekend?
Nothing really super remarkable. I did make the artichoke dip, and I made the crackers. The artichoke dip came out fine. I actually ended up having that and crackers for supper last night instead of what I had planned, and that's okay. The bathroom issues, I've now swung from what it was to alternating between constipation and the opposite of constipation. And Eric talked a little bit about that in the video. My conclusion is that probably I'm actually getting rid of some fat that in the bathroom. He said that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
I've lost 3 pounds in the last week.
Good.
So I think that may be what's going on. It's a little bit annoying, but I'm just kind of struggling with it, or not struggling, just kind of living with it, because I'm confident that it will work itself out in time. Water and breathing, yes. Haven't yet trained myself to breathe before I think about eating. So I had a learning moment last night. I was watching TV, and the food devil whispered to me that there were some salted nuts in the pantry. And I said, yeah, I'm not really hungry though. And he said, oh yeah, but they're going to taste really good. And you didn't have much for supper. And I gave in. So I had a small dish of them. I didn't take the container back to the chair. What's interesting about this, and the reason I bring it up, is I didn't actually enjoy them.
Ooh, say more.
And so I kept eating them. I had until the dish was gone. It was probably about a quarter cup, maybe a third of a cup. I kept eating till the dish was gone, and then stopped and actually paused the video and thought for a while. And it's like, So I didn't really enjoy those, but I ate them anyway. It wasn't that the taste was bad, but it wasn't like, wow, this is terrific the way they had been. So I think I may actually be getting over my taste for them, which may be a good thing. I have been trying to ramp up the amount of salt I eat, and maybe that's actually having the right effect.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I really wish I had done, but just didn't think to do when that thought occurred, was to breathe before I got up out of the chair and went to get them. And just like I had to train myself over a long period to breathe in the morning and in the evening, I'm going to have to train myself to do that too.
Cool. The observation I would make regarding the nuts not being as satisfying as you expected is that you are retraining your taste buds, which means that your taste for things may change on its own as well.
Right.
And I would also say, take a look at the package just to make sure it doesn't have any like weird things in it that make it really like preservatives or natural flavorings or any of that kind of crap.
Okay, I'll make a point to do that right after the meeting.
Yeah, just in case, because it could be that if it's got additives that you don't want, now that you're retraining your taste buds, that could be the thing that your body is saying, yeah, not natural. Don't really want that.
And contrary-wise, that could be what I've been craving because it was familiar before.
Mm-hmm. Could be.
So, all right, I'll take a look.
Yeah, and it may be that they're perfectly fine and it just wasn't where you needed to be with them last night, but it's definitely worth checking. Yeah. Cool, awesome. Linda.
I apologize for being late this morning.
Oh, you're fine. Everybody was late because I'm on Bromance, and Jeanette and Sandra aren't joining us. Jeanette doesn't have internet today, and Sandra's in the middle of a final. Dana tried to log on, but didn't get on, so I'm not quite sure where she is at this point, but that's fine. So check in for you.
Water, great. Breathing, very good. You know, Stan, you and I have a lot in common as far as our taste buds. I did the same yesterday, got a little handful of nuts, macadamians and walnuts, and I don't know what else I have. But anyways, and I started eating them, and I usually love macadamians. I mean, that's my go-to love for food in the nut variety. After a couple, it was ew, yuck. And I stuffed my face until they were gone because I had them there. And I did enjoy the walnuts still. Those are still very satisfying to me. But I ate more than I should have. I could have easily have put it down, but as a habit, I noticed it's like, why am I eating these? I'm not even enjoying them. So that was a good aha moment. um, my husband for my birthday had surprised me. Had gone to Half Moon Bay, and I got me fresh salmon right out of the sea, and then they left.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know, so damn good. It's you'll never eat any other salmon again after having this, right out of the ocean. And so
I'll
he,
tell you a story about that later.
okay, I love to hear about it. And so we barbecued it, and it was just so wonderful. And they're the steaks that are U-shaped, right?
Mhm.
So I just cut half of it and just savored every moment, and I'm full. But the thing is, they went on a hunt trip this morning, Sally. I have this salmon, I have to eat. So I don't know if I'll gain any weight, lose any weight, but I'm not craving the nuts because I think it's fatty enough and filling enough, comforting. It's so comforting that vegetables and salmon all week.
So keep in mind, you can freeze it.
Yeah, but it's just not the same.
Well, it's not the same, but it might be nice to have something almost the same a little bit later. Just
That's
saying.
that's a good point.
And did Ken catch it or did he go buy it?
He went and bought it.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
The last time we had it, because my dad loved it and he would make special trips for my dad.
Ah.
The last time he had it was, 2017. So
let's talk a little bit. I want to back up just a little bit. You said something a minute ago about gaining weight or losing weight in relationship to how much you're actually eating. I'm going to keep reinforcing this point because it's one of the most difficult things to get your head wrapped around. We don't count calories. How much you eat, as long as you're eating the right stuff, really doesn't matter.
okay.
Okay.
I hear Stan, like, oh, I lost 3 pounds. Well, God damn it. I ate those nuts. I didn't lose 3 pounds. I'm an alpha female. I wish I had that alpha male metabolism.
Yeah. So first of all, it's not a competition.
I know it's not a competition.
and secondly, keep in mind, women and men lose weight differently and in different places.
Yes.
So it all happens differently. But when I hear you talk about the nuts in terms of the aha is great. I didn't need them. I didn't really want them. Yeah, that's cool. But I don't want there to be any kind of guilt or agita around, oh, that was a bunch of calories I shouldn't have had, because we don't care about calories.
Okay.
Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense. So I just need to be more in tune of not the calories, but am I hungry or am I not hungry?
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah. And never let yourself get hungry.
Right.
At this point.
I got a little hungry this morning, but I have so much of this now in my refrigerator. It's like, oops, pour, drink, fine.
Cool. And you will reach the point when you're living well and fit where getting hungry is okay, as long as you've got, food prepped.
Mm-hmm.
So that when you get hungry, you can do something about it without making an inappropriate choice. And it is kind of nice to be able to get hungry. Yes, Dan.
Just a reminder, I was really struck by in the video, Eric said, if we're not starting to lose weight, the answer may actually be to eat more fat.
Yep, exactly.
Good fat.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have
so when I think about you, Linda, with all that salmon, I think, wow, you are going to drop a ton. not that you need to.
I do. I'm a bit up above where I need, quite a bit up above what I need to be. I was going to say something. What was it? Oh, I have noticed this. Before Wild Fit, on my upper thigh, had this little thing attached to fat, like, right? My thigh went like this and kind of went like that.
Mm-hmm.
I could see I'm really getting heavy on the sides, and that was really bothering me. That little fat bump is gone.
Nice.
And I'm looking in the mirror. It's like, no, this can't be. It's just, it took it from my thigh, you know? So how I'm kind of thinking about that is where these accumulations are, right? In unhealthy fats, it starts shedding. So I have this also unhealthy fat around the gut that I'm trying to shed. And that's the most stubborn thing for women.
Yep.
Is there anything to focus on to help with that?
Make sure you're eating enough and make sure you're eating enough fat.
Oh, I am. But that salmon's going to.
Because truly that's what happens. I mean, I still have some belly fat left that I'd like to get rid of, but I'm truly shocked at how much of it really went away all on its own. I mean,
Yeah.
it was like, it was the last part where I really started losing weight, releasing that weight, releasing all of that fat. And there's still a little bit left there. But the other thing is, based on age group, body composition is different in every decade. Welcome to my decade.
No. I'm in denial.
No, well, that's the issue. You truly cannot be in denial. I tried being in denial when I was in my 50s, tried it in my 60s. It doesn't work. Here's the deal. You're going to be fit because you're going to have more energy and be able to do more of the things that you want to do. But the body composition results in your 60s will be very different than they would have been in your 30s.
Yeah, I understand. And
You know?
it's hard for me to accept that,
Oh yeah, I get it.
So,
I get it.
but I have to tell you, Sally, this week has just been another fabulous week of good sleep. And I haven't even been setting the alarm because I usually wake up by 5:30, whatever. It's like I'm waking up at 7. It's like,
Wow.
shit, I have to set the alarm again, right? And I'm going to bed between 9:30 and 10 because I don't want to go to bed when I'm not tired, right? So I'm cleaning the house or I'm doing this, having a cup of tea or something. But it's just been, I wake up, go to the bathroom, it's like I'm sleepwalking right back into bed.
Are you sure you're not tired earlier?
I am. I checked in with myself.
Okay.
Now, the night before, the girls spent the night with me. And I was by 10:30, I was like, I got to go to bed. Jake stayed up and played with the grandkids. And I went to sleep. I didn't even hear them crawl in the bed with me, right? I was out, completely out. And it was such a nice feeling to wake up with dream state, because then you're in your REM, lots of dreams going on, weird dreams, funny dreams, scary dreams, whatever the dreams. But I'm digging it. I'm like, wow, I wonder what I'm going to dream about tonight. Maybe that past life.
Let's talk about sleep for a minute, because I've been doing, as I've said, I've been doing a lot of studying around sleep and how to enhance sleep quality and so forth. One of the biggest discoveries I've made is going to bed at the same time has much more impact than what time you get up.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. And so, I mean, here's my routine, because I live alone and I can do this. I mean, typically I have an alarm that's set for 8:30 in the evening that says it's time to start your wind down. And my goal is to be in bed by 9. And then I can read for a little while before I just naturally fall asleep. So sometimes I make it about 15 minutes. Most of the time I don't even make it that long. And then, I'm up by 5 every morning. And that seems to be the amount of sleep that really works well for me. It took me a long time to get it dialed in. So it's kind of like whatever the time is, pick your bedtime first, whatever time that is.
Okay.
And then work on, how much sleep you truly need to be able to get up effectively in the morning. And generally, for people like us that don't need to set an alarm because they don't have a concern about being someplace on time, it's better not to set an alarm, especially for some number of weeks while you're figuring out what that interval of best sleep quality time for you is.
Okay.
Because your body will tell you.
Yeah. I kind of noticed, around 9:30, I'm starting to feel like, go to bed.
Yeah. Right. That means you should probably start getting ready about 9 o'clock.
And that's what I do at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
I have this whole routine, evening ritual. I do that. I've stuck to that for all these years.
So, and I know, Stan, I know that you downloaded the app. Have you started using it at all?
I haven't actually.
Yeah, it might be interesting to see how that turns out for you. I really enjoy seeing, oh yeah, I hit 94% last night. Cool.
Yeah, I have CDO about a lot of things, but for some reason I don't about that. I think that's why I'm hesitant.
That's interesting. Yeah, it appeals to me both because of the information that I can gain from it, the fact that it's geeky, and oh yeah, it's numbers.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I get enough out of that in other areas.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So I looked at that app and I downloaded it on my phone, and I'm like a little confused on how to really use it effectively. And so the family starts talking about Christmas. So what do you want for Christmas? Okay, I want this. I want my greenhouse. And Jake, you can buy me the Apple Watch, the middle of the line with just the Wi-Fi, no calling. Because I think on the Apple Watch, it might be easier for me to use that sleep app, because I just feel like it's closer to me because my nightstand's so far away.
How far away is your nightstand?
Well, it's probably about a foot, and also my husband snores, and I didn't want to have it interfering, and I sleep away from him.
It should be able to pick up the differences pretty easily. Start with the app itself and see what you get.
Okay.
Because I think you'll be surprised at how well it actually does work.
Okay.
Now, I haven't ever used it when I've been sleeping with somebody else. Yeah, that's not true, because Jack, no longer with me, but Jack slept in the bedroom with me, and he was a terrible snorer. He snored a lot, and it didn't pick up his snoring, it picked up mine.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So, I mean, I'm not going to say that it's perfect, but I think it probably will work pretty well, just to get started with it.
This is the app that picked up the train half a mile away and thought it was you snoring?
Yep.
Yeah, just checking.
Yeah, no, I didn't say, I said it's not perfect, but it is pretty good.
Yeah.
So, cool. Have you both seen the video?
Yes, I watched it.
Yes.
So, one of the things that I liked at the very end of this one was his statement that weight loss should be a mission so that you can be around for longer. Around well for longer.
Right. You know, I paid attention to that, and he's how he's saying to take extra walks and park far away. And, you know, I do a lot of that, but, you know, I like, okay, so when I went out to my workout room, it was, yeah, I worked hard. I just made that extra effort. It was very motivating. Yes, I need to make that extra effort, quit being lazy.
And of course, keep in mind that if you find the scale a stressful occurrence,
right,
stay off it.
I'm going to do it every Friday, and I'm going to take my breaths, and I'm going to, like, whatever it is, accept as is, and remember how you feel. That's kind of my motivation to myself.
Yeah.
And then maybe take 5 breaths afterwards.
Stan?
Yeah, I'm not doing mine more than weekly, because if I did it every day, I wouldn't be good at kind of integrating that and decide, you know, and smoothing out the day-to-day variations. My particular scale will tell me what it was after I step off, and it's told me what my weight is now. It tells me what my weight is last time. So if I do it weekly, I have a great way, without any extra work, to know if I've gained or lost for the week.
Right, right. Cool. The other thing that I thought was really interesting was the statement that being obese is 7 times more dangerous than smoking a pack of cigarettes every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was something.
You know, it scared me when he said an obese is just your tummy out this much. I'm like, what the fuck, I'm obese? Holy cow. And that's scary to me because of the family history that we have.
Mm-hmm. Well, and from my perspective, I spent many, many, many years being obese and smoking between a pack and a half and 4 packs of cigarettes a day.
Yeah, I was a smoker years ago.
In 2015, I actually briefly, well, for a few months, was not obese, but merely overweight. I'd been really working out a lot and trying with willpower to control what I ate. So I'm now within striking distance of reaching that point again. When I lose another 12 pounds, then I'll only be overweight, not obese. Now, I'm not planning to stop there. I want to get rid of as much as I can.
Well, and that's what's so
But-
cool about this, because one of the things that we'll be talking about a lot actually in week 13, but I'll just mention it briefly here, is that when we finish the challenge, if you still have weight loss as a goal, it is perfectly possible to accommodate that. And you do it by cycling in and out of spring based on some number of days that you choose. So
Would you be available to help us through that after this is all over with, Sally?
yeah, and certainly, you know, one of the added options is less frequent, but still available coaching calls that we can set up, you know, to be able to do that. And we also will have an alumni Facebook group, which you guys will be the only ones in that initially, since you're the first group, but eventually it will get bigger as more time goes by.
We'll be able to share our wisdom.
There you go. Perfect. Perfect. All right. I unfortunately need to end, if you don't mind, because I got to get back into Brovance, and I'll post this up in the Facebook group probably very late this afternoon by the time I get done. Linda, you might want to go back and pick up the beginning of the recording, because Stan had a really good question about lunch meats and bacon
Oh, okay, I will.
before you got here.
yeah.
So cool. Any final thoughts for you guys? You feeling good?
Feeling good, yeah. Feeling really
Awesome.
good. Yeah.
Good, good. I'm really pleased. And we will be back here again on Friday at our regular time.
Okay.
Can't wait to hear how the rest of the week went. So I'll catch you all then.
Okay, thanks, Sally. Have a
Thank
good
you.
time today.
Sounds great.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.